Lynch, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Looks like autumn has arrived, and all fall long, a Metro Transit Day Pass is still just $5, which makes you just one click away from your one-day mental health fall getaway. Plan your trip at metrostlouis.org.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Big show today. When isn't it a big show? But a big show today once again with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. We have Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio, joining us to talk some baseball at 12:45. Katie Woo. If you are a Cardinals fan, you probably got the alert already, and she's already written a very nice column saying farewell to you, St. Louis and Cardinals fans. Katie has taken the job with The Athletic covering the Dodgers.
I don't approve.
She
I'm not giving my... Nobody ran this by me.
Yeah. She did a tremendous job. Really did.
Yeah, she did.
Not only is she great at breaking news, which is kind of the hallmark of a great beat reporter, but Katie is a terrific feature reporter and a really talented writer, and she's going to do very well out in that big media market in Los Angeles. She'll do really well covering the Dodgers, and they're the story right now in baseball.
Well, and as I said, it would serve her right if she goes out there and they never win another title. Actually, they'll probably three-peat, though.
Well, you can tell that to her yourself.
I'm going to tell her with venom. I'm going to say, how dare you leave us?
How
dare you?
She will be with us coming up here at 12:30.
She's great, man.
We're also going to...
And happy for her because look, I mean, where the Cardinals are now, it has to be infinitely more fun at the moment to cover a team that is just consistently good with superstars on it. And I'd love to get back to that, and I hope we do here, and we will at some point, I believe. But, man, for right now, to get to cover that team, good for her.
Yeah. So Katie will be with us at 12:30. She is... She's going to do a great job, but she'll continue to follow. It's not going to be all about the move. Well, she'll have some scoop, I guarantee you. She always brings it. She'll have something for you on the Cardinals here down the stretch before the winter meetings start.
Just like I said, Ken is watching on YouTube and says she's leaving without our permission.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We did not grant her that, but, I'm willing to listen.
Circa Sports Vice President of Operations Mike Palm is with us, as this is a big week for all of the apps that have joined Missouri, and gambling is legal. Sports gambling is legal in Missouri as of Monday, December 1st. So here on December 3rd, we'll talk to Mike Palm about that. A lot to jam into 1 hour. How you doing, bud? You doing well this morning?
Doing great, man. Just, just loving the weather. Loving the football weather.
Oh, baby.
That we're getting right now.
Isn't it great? This is our time to talk football before we switch to baseball and everything else. But I am going to go this weekend. I will be there on Saturday for Indiana and Ohio State. Before that, 22nd ranked Indiana basketball plays number 6 Louisville. It would be the equivalent of, I was just talking to a reporter in Indianapolis about this. They have not had a day like this in Indy. And Indy throws events almost every weekend, where IU rarely plays anything of this magnitude in Indianapolis. It would be like
football.
Yeah. I mean, basketball they do, but they've never been in a Final Four in Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's always been in other locations. It would be like Mizzou playing, Kentucky in a early season matchup at Enterprise Center in the afternoon, and then everybody goes over to the Dome to see them play Alabama in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. So it's going to be a great day, and your Chicago Bears are going to win the North. What do you think about that?
Buddy, here's what's so incredible about them. First of all, there's just no excuse for them to be the first seed in the NFC on December 3rd. There was no scenario in which I envisioned that being an actual reality. Just didn't. Now, here's the other part of it. I know they're good. I'm still not convinced of how good they actually are. So this week, it's Packers week, right?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
They're playing at Lambeau Field this weekend. A 3:25 game on Sunday, and they're going in to Lambeau Field. I don't think they win this one. At least I don't think they do. Going up against the Packers, having the lead in the division and in the conference. I don't envision it's going to stay that way. I don't think that by Sunday night they'll still be in the lead. I just can't believe they're here right now. And I don't think their best team in the conference. I still think it's the Rams. Rams are probably number one.
Gross.
But what are we? Yeah, and I hate to say it, but it's remarkable. I'll enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy the next few days of being the top seed, but I think it probably comes to an end soon.
For selfish reasons, I need Caleb to outdo Jordan because that's the quarterback matchup. The winner of this matchup makes the playoffs. So me against one of my friends who has Love, and I have Williams. So as long as he outduels him, I think I could probably cover the rest of it. Here's the other.
Let me say this part here. Here's where the Bears are. They're in first place, right? They got the top seed. It is totally conceivable that they don't even make the playoffs still. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for them to be 9-3 and to finish with 9 or 10 wins. So they'll probably finish with 10 at least because I think they beat Cleveland for sure. They got 2 against the Packers. You got Seattle. You've got Detroit. It is totally possible they lose every other game, finish with 10 wins, and it's not enough to get in.
You don't want that.
Can you imagine being the top seed in early December and missing the playoffs? I think that is absolutely possible.
You want to go in with momentum. That's why this Indiana-Ohio State game is massive, because if you win it, you have momentum going into the college football playoff. You guarantee yourself the first round bye. And if you lose it, you start to doubt yourself. Are we good enough? Even Ohio State, like, what happened? How did we let Indiana beat us? And are we good enough to get into this thing? Fernando Mendoza against Julian Sayin for the Heisman. That'll be the matchup there. Both are the favorites to win the Heisman, so whoever has the better matchup in that quarterback matchup will win the Heisman Trophy. I have decided that my next NFL team, my last NFL team was the St. Louis Rams, and then I decided I don't want to root for NFL teams anymore. I'm done. I'm back. It's going to be the team that Fernando Mendoza goes to. That will be my NFL team. So my daughter said, "Dad, what if it was the Rams?" And I'm like, well, good luck, Fernando. I'm out.
That's the only team?
But they're not taking him. It'll probably be the Jets or somebody like that. But that's okay. I'm on board. Let's take a timeout. By the way, Aaron Dodson, God bless him. Here he is, back again. Another day.
Watching on YouTube.
Moves. As Mitchell says, at least one bloom move a day or Aaron isn't happy. That would be 100 moves is what it would have to be. That's how many days we have in the offseason.
I think, would it make Aaron happy? Just the volume of moves. If they trade, let's say they traded Sonny Gray to Boston. What if they trade back for him? That's 2 moves.
I just love it.
Would that be satisfactory?
I just love it. He wants to log off because we're talking football. Wait, Aaron, we're done. We're done talking football. We're talking sports next with Mike Palm. We're talking baseball the back half of the hour with Katie Wu and Mike Farron. It just doesn't get any better than that.
And you know what? Grow up, Aaron. Football's great. What are you talking about? Grow up. Football's a great sport.
Back after this.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
It's here, Missouri. FanDuel Sportsbook is live and ready to roll in the Show Me State, and they are celebrating with something for everyone. This week, all this week, every customer gets a no-sweat bet every single day. So no matter what you're betting on, if it doesn't hit, you're going to get bonus bets back to keep the action going. So Football, basketball, hockey, whatever it is you're into, you can bet all of it on an app that is safe, secure, and it's built for every kind of fan. If you're an expert, if you're just getting into it, you're a novice, whatever, because the interface is quick, experience is great, the payouts are quick as well. Download the FanDuel app or visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. FanDuel Sportsbook is now live in Missouri. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Opt-in required each day. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $20. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
This is Molly Highland, daughter of Robert Highland. Congratulations, KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, on a century of service.
Welcome back. We are on the Gashouse Gang, and we are joined by a very special guest. The Vice President of Operations for Circa Sports is Mike Palm, and it's great to have you on KMOX. How are you?
Good, Tom. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. Well, it's a big week. It is the launch of not only the legalized sports betting in the state of Missouri, but the Circa Sports app in the state of Missouri. And I'm sure an exciting and busy time for Circa right now.
Yeah, it was. And then the lead up to December 1st was certainly a exciting period and a little bit of a crunch for us. We got into it relatively late in the game. We had talked with one of the other operators about doing a deal for one of their skins in Missouri once the vote had passed, the narrow margin. And as we continued talking, Missouri announced that they were going to grant two untethered licenses, meaning you didn't have to have a partnership with one of the casinos or the sports teams, and put together a presentation, and Derek flew in, and against all odds we were able to get one of the two untethered licenses, and then ramping up our efforts. This is a new technology for us that we launched in Missouri. We had rolled it out in Iowa in mid-October, but it's been about 4 years in the making, working to have our own tech stack in sports. So that was an exciting part of it, working with the Missouri Gaming Commission on this ramp-up period and some of the parameters, and it was a very good relationship with them. And so we got to get people to download the app starting November 17th and start depositing and getting all of our pay and fund sources lined up, which we did, and then flying in on Sunday afternoon and having dinner with some of the Blues executives who we have a advertising partnership with, and then being there at midnight as the first bet rolled in, and being able to go around and meet with some different folks, some different local folks, different bar owners there in St. Louis yesterday, and then eventually winding up at the Ducks and Blues game. And everything went pretty well. by about noon, we had as many opened and funded accounts in those first 12 hours as we did in that 2-week ramp up. So we just saw as the day went on, more and more people downloading, more and more people funding, and then, of course, the wagers rolling in.
Absolutely, and people can do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What is the best feature, do you think, of the Circus Sports app for people listening right now?
I think it's our model of how we do things. And, you know, if you're successful betting sports and you're winning, we're not going to limit to the amount of money you can bet on a game or tell you can't bet with us. And if you want to bet more, that's fine too. I think you'll find that we have as high as limits on games as you'll see. It's very transparent. If you go on the app, each game, it lists the limit on that game or the limit on that bet. And if you want to bet more, you can reach out and have a conversation with us as well. We really try to have the best pricing in the market. So, you know, a smaller straddle, if you will, if you're betting a side on the game, true odds payouts. If you're betting parlays, a lot of our competitors, it'll just be a standard amount. You know, a 3-teamer is 5.8 to 1, a 4-teamer is 9.9 to 1. You know, we play the true odds on it. There's, you know, no shaving of it there. And then finally, I think that we're very accessible. If you have any issues with your app or with any of the funding, you can reach out and someone's going to talk to you and walk you through the process.
Well, you can hear it in your voice that you talked a little bit about Iowa, that I get the sense that you understand the Midwestern sports fan as well. I don't know how far that would go as well in terms of the model, but it does sound very friendly to a Midwestern sports fan that Derek Stevens is from Michigan. You're from Iowa. I got to imagine that there's a bit of a connection there.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that we're a Big Ten casino, right? Because we're from people from the upper Midwest and a lot of folks from Michigan and Iowa and Illinois and that area. So it's very relatable. You know, we were there on December 1st and people say, oh, how are you dealing with the snow? I mean, I miss the snow. I loved having the snow. I was a little perplexed at how challenging it was for people driving around. Like we did a radio hit, and they said, oh, some of the on-air talent couldn't come in because of the roads. You know, and the Blues game, a lot of people couldn't make it. I get to stay close to some highways, and I know there were some accidents, but we walked around. I didn't even want to drive around with our shuttle when we could walk 20 minutes or less. I wanted to be out there in the snow. But we certainly relate. Missouri's an awesome state, very knowledgeable fan bases in St. Louis and Kansas City throughout the state, not only for professional teams, but for college athletics as well. So, you know, that sort of Midwestern hospitality sensibility certainly is part of our team.
Mike Palm is with us. He is the Vice President of Operations for Circus Sports. As December 1st hit, it is also a very exciting time because you have football, college football, the conference championships this weekend. The NFL will kick into high gear with the playoffs not far away. At the same time, I know that Circus Sports is big on this, encouraging people to gamble responsibly. And could you describe your affiliation with responsible gaming in that way?
Yeah, I think Derek's done a terrific job. Obviously, he's owned casinos in Las Vegas for almost 20 years. And to, be under the kind of scrutiny that you are from regulation in the state of Nevada and to be able to hold yourself up as an institution that supports responsible gaming, I think is important. I also think it's very important that everyone out there understands the difference between legal and regulated operators and those that aren't, and I'm mentioning predictive markets here as one of them. There's no responsible gaming side of what they're doing. Not only are they don't have to pay licensing fees or taxes, there's no responsible gaming measures in place for those companies. I mean, I coach a couple of my kids' teams, and there's 13-year-old kids walking around with apps on their phone where they can bet on games, and I'm talking about through predictive markets. So it's very important that you're able to educate young people on how to treat gambling responsibly so that when they get to a legal age, they have some framework. It's obviously exposed to everyone when you watch TV through the proliferation of ads and the talk about odds and point spreads. And so I think we're naive to think that when someone turns 21, they have no exposure to it and you have to start educating them. We're talking about getting into the junior highs and the high schools and educating people as well. And of course, the features on the app allows you to set limits for yourself, daily limits of how much you can deposit, monthly or weekly limits if you'd like to. I tell people who are new getting into this should be treated as an entertainment expense. Just like if you wanted to go to Hawaii on vacation, you're going to budget how much your airfare is, your hotel, your meals, and the excursions you want to take. It's no different. Gambling is an entertainment. Of course, it's something you want to get better at. You'd like to win. People are all competitive. But you should have an amount of money that you have set aside that said, this is my budget for this part of my entertainment, and stick to that.
You are in Missouri. I see also Kentucky, Iowa, Illinois, Colorado, and, of course, in Nevada, where you are overseeing the operation along with others of what's happening in Las Vegas. What is the future of Circa? Where do you go from here?
We will be in Arizona sometime in 2026. We've signed an agreement with with the native operators there. And so now the application process with the Arizona Gaming Commission will commence. They're waiting for one other application to come in to do their due diligence. So that'll probably happen sometime, maybe Q3 or early Q4 next year. And of course, we're always looking at other opportunities. It's not all states are for us. I'll be very honest there. We have a lower hold business model, so states with the more aggressive tax rates are very difficult for us for our business plan to work. That's why Missouri was so attractive with a flat 10% tax. Your neighbors next door in Illinois were attractive when it was 15, but the governor and the legislature sort of moved the goalpost there, and it seems like every other week you find a new tax, a Cook County tax. Now the mayor of Chicago wants to put a tax. Makes it difficult to operate. You will also see for the folks in the St. Louis area who are used to driving over the river to make their bets in Illinois, the same operators that operate in Missouri will probably be able to offer a better product than what you get in Illinois just because of the tax structure.
And finally, Mike, I think it's proper to ask this, and probably understandable, that a lot of people raise concerns about sports gambling and the sports industry at large merging together. I would say that it's probably important to have the conversations, wouldn't you say, in terms of making sure that everybody is aware of your place in the business and sports entities and teams in the business partnering and what that means for the future?
Yeah, I think it is. And it's also important to note that we're trying to protect the integrity of the outcomes, right? You don't want wagering to affect outcomes because it tempts people to skew the results, i.e. the Guardians pitchers who were throwing balls intentionally so people could micro bet on certain pitches, or some of these NBA players who were, saying they were injured so they would go under their points or rebounds, or even some of the college basketball things that we saw with first halves. But all of that gets discovered because of the relationships between the leagues and the sports betting. U.S. Integrity was the company, and it still operates. I'm not sure what the title is now. But when sportsbooks see unusual betting patterns on events, they're in communication with each other and this firm called U.S. Integrity. And then other sportsbooks can say, yeah, we're seeing that too. Let's suspend action on that game. This then calls the leagues to question, why was there this strange activity? Why is there so much money being bet on this obscure bet? Why was there so much money being bet on the first half of a relatively obscure college basketball game? And that's what leads to finding out who the bad actors are on these things. You saw Rob Manfred in baseball come out and say there's going to be a limit on the amount of money that can be wagered on any individual pitch, and that's $200. Now, that applies to all of the licensed sports books that are partners with Major League Baseball. If the illegal bookmakers have no limit to set. But everybody that's following along with Rob Manfred understands we're trying to curb any kind of activity by making it a lower limit, because how could a pitcher be incentivized when you can't get that much of a bet down? I would expect Adam Silver in the NBA to start limiting either the number of props or the number of players you can offer props on in certain games. Because obviously a player that's going to play a bit role and play to less than 10 minutes and who makes $600,000 a year has more temptation than the superstar who's making $50 million a year and is expected to play 36 minutes in the game. So I think the leagues working together with the sports books and with the integrity agencies all help to make it a better, more safe product.
Really appreciate that perspective and look forward to everything that's to come in the business. Circus Sports Vice President of Operations, Mike Palm, with us. I have the Circus Sports app up on my phone right now, and it is active. It is that time here in December. Appreciate it very much, and thank you for being with us on KMOX.
Thanks, Tom. Good luck to everyone, and happy holidays.
We'll be right back, right after this.
Major League Baseball's winter meetings begin Sunday in Orlando, and all eyes are on Chaim Bloom with expectations he'll be busy.
I do think it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. Now, we don't have anything up our sleeves right now that's about to drop. I think you'll see things escalating as we get closer to the winter meetings.
KMOX will be reporting live from the winter meetings. Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne will bring you exclusive reports with updates, access, and breaking news you won't hear anywhere else. Your home for St. Louis Cardinals coverage. KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Partly sunny and 35 degrees. The high today will be 39.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. Life happens. Accidents, deaths. Make your estate plan now, or the courts will decide for you later. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's Chicken Pot Pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second-guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call me, Lance Drury, in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. Ski Team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and can you believe it's already the holiday season? While most people are thinking about lights and gift lists, a lot of homeowners are also wondering if now is the right time to sell or if they should wait until the new year. So I'm here with Gloria Liu from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, what should sellers be thinking about right now?
Great question. Even during the holidays, serious buyers are still out there, and with fewer homes on the market, sellers actually face less competition. When we get into the new year, listings start to spike and competition rises. But that's never a problem for my clients because I guarantee to sell your home at your price and time frame, or I will buy it myself. Whether you want to move now or after the holidays, we'll make it smooth and stress-free.
That's why Gloria Liu is the trusted choice for St. Louis home sellers. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. From all of us, happy holidays, and here's to your next move being your best one. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Tonight, the women's Billikens basketball team hits the court to face St. Bonaventure. Pre-game 6:45, tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Back on the Gashouse Gang with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Our producers are Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd. And with us on the line, she was with us for 5 years, I do believe, and she is moving on back to California to cover the Los Angeles Dodgers. If you're just hearing the news, I'm sorry to pass along that Katie Woo is leaving the Cardinals beat. And man, did we enjoy Katie Woo on the Cardinals beat. At the same time, we're happy for you, Katie. How are you?
Gentlemen, I'm well. Thank you so much for having me, and sorry in advance if you hear any traffic in the background. I'm getting my car service. Turns out you should not ignore the flashing lights on your dashboard for 3 months. You will have to go get your car taken care of eventually and spend your whole day at the shop. So a final lesson I've learned in St. Louis.
It's completely understandable. It's called ambient noise. We like that in radio. So we have that in the background.
Love the sirens.
Yeah.
Coming to get you.
That's right.
That's what
exactly.
It is. Yeah.
As we know.
By the way.
Yep.
Katie, let me just say this. Congratulations on the move. But don't you think you should have run this by us first?
Thank you. And you know what? It was honestly a really difficult decision. And I think people are going to maybe not believe me when you just look at the trajectory of the Dodgers and the Cardinals in terms of the team perspective. And I understand that part. But when I'm looking at just the people that I've met over the last 5 years, the sense of community in Cardinals baseball, and the way this city and this market and this fan base really kind of embraced me. I mean, I had zero beat writing experience when I took this job. And because of so many people willing to give me their time and their effort and their platform, it really helped me make St. Louis feel like home. So it was a difficult decision. It's very bittersweet. I'm excited to go home, but in a way, I'm also leaving a home. So I'm so sorry for not running it past you guys, but that's because I think you might have persuaded me to stay.
Well, yeah. It's been a great run, and we know we're going to continue to follow you because all we have to do is open up the app and read you, and you'll be covering Dodgers Cardinals games, so we'll still be able to chat with you. But Katie, if you look back at your time in St. Louis, and we'll talk about what you're going to do in LA here in just a bit, but when you look back in St. Louis, what memories really do come to mind most for you? What will stay with you?
I wrote about this in the farewell piece I put in The Athletic this morning, but the most common sentiment I get from fans, and I get this part, is they lament the fact that I've covered for 5 years a down era for an organization that historically wins a lot. I was here for 5 years. I got 3 playoff games, 0 wins. So I didn't necessarily match up with the Cardinals' competitive era. And they say I must be so disappointed. And truthfully, I don't think of it that way at all. We covered, in my opinion, one of the most influential periods for this organization in terms of what it's going to mean for their long-term future. And that, to me, was worth it because we're going to look back at 23, 24, and 25, 10 years from now, and hopefully look at it as the jumpstart for the next era of good Cardinals baseball. But everything the Cardinals are doing right now and what they're going to do in 26 and 27 is laying the groundwork for what should be, if everything goes according to plan, another successful run. So being able to cover that and kind of understand the inner workings of what was going on in the organization during a time where not a lot of good things were going on for that org, that's what's going to stick out to me in terms of the coverage. The other thing that I'll remember And I'll say this all day long. Again, it's the people. The relationship between a beat reporter and an organization can be contentious. It's supposed to be. We are not supposed to be friends all of the time, as much as I didn't like that. But every day I worked with a very fair front office, regardless of who was in charge, whether it was Mo, whether it was Chaim. I had one of the most patient managers in baseball, one of the most thoughtful managers in baseball, and Ollie Marmol to learn from, and a really trusting clubhouse, super respectful of our time, that would go out of their way, players, whether they were established veterans or rookies just debuting, to go out and sit down with me and give me 20 minutes of their time so I could better understand them. That kind of stuff doesn't happen in every organization. So to go 3 for 3 with the incredible people that I've worked with over the last 5 years, I really feel so lucky.
And now that there is a new president of baseball operations, and he's not just coming in the last couple of months, he's been here for a couple of years. So there was time to get to know him a little bit, though he was sort of behind the scenes. What is your level of confidence that they've gotten the right guy and they will be moving in the right direction?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think there is, when you look forward, the reason I liked the Sonny Gray trade so much was, it's not easy to trade away your top starting pitcher, someone that signed here hoping to win and did not accomplish that with the team. But when you think about what Chaim said at his intro press conference at the end of September, he said that he was essentially comfortable making short-term sacrifices to ensure that the organization got to their long-term goal, which was to be perennial contenders and get kind of back up to when the Cardinals were competing not just for the wild card participation trophy, but for real, legitimate National League pennant. And I think that trade really backed it up. And it was the first move of his that was really significant. Yes, he's made some hirings in the front office and some 40-man configuration. But this first trade of his was the first major move, and it backed up exactly what he said he was going to do. This fan base really needs some sort of trust in the organization, and that's really hard to ask your fan base to trust this team right now after what the last 3 seasons have looked like. But for a new president of baseball operations to come in and say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then do a trade that backs up exactly what he said, I think that might have bought some trust in the fan base, even if the trade itself wasn't great in terms of trading away talent instead of acquiring it.
Katie Wu, who is making her final appearance on KMOX as a Cardinals reporter, she's going to switch to the Dodgers beat for The Athletic this week, she wrote on The Athletic. So let me ask you this. I saw your appearance with one of our alums, Greg Amsinger, on MLB Network, and he asked you to rank 1 through 4 the priority or what you thought would be the quickest in terms of making a trade, 1 through 4. And you ranked him this way: Arenado 4th, Contreras 3rd, Donovan 2nd, and Nootbaar 1st. Why did you say that?
So it's complicated, right? Everything with this team is complicated. I don't need to say that. Nolan Arenado is the guy that they want to trade the most. All right, he's the number one priority. The fact that I have him last in that group is because it's going to take a lot of time. The third base market is still relatively unestablished. And then for all of the indicators last year that this would be a difficult thing to happen, those still apply. So I think Nolan Arenado is priority number 1 to be traded. I know that. I also know that it's going to be the most difficult to happen. So that's why I have him kind of slotted there. Now, when you look at Contreras, I mean, with the new reports that he's more open to being traded, that doesn't really change the Cardinals' overall order of operations. It just provides them another avenue to explore if they want to see what kind of return they can get for Contreras. Maybe that his market doesn't come to form right now. Maybe it's something they visit at the trade deadline. It's just another lane to explore. Now you get to your lefties. We know all about Brendan Donovan, one of the most coveted players available via trade this offseason. We also know the Cardinals don't feel like they have to trade him. This is not something where they're offloading any of their players except for Arenado. They do feel like they have to trade him, and I think that feeling is mutual. So unless the Cardinals are blown away by Brendan Donovan and the offers, and they might, over 15 teams are in on Donovan, they'll hold on to him. That means you pivot to Nootbaar, and the reason why I have him as the highest percentage of being traded is because he still has a ton of value. Rival teams love his analytics. Rival teams are not really all that concerned that he might miss a couple of weeks, maybe 4 most, to start the season. He has such a high upside still, and he's going to cost less than Donovan. So that, to me, are all those things that the Cardinals will be shopping. The things that I can say for absolutes: they do absolutely want to trade Nolan Arenado. That is priority number 1. There will just be things impacting that timing. And they do want to move 1, if not 2, of their left-handed hitters to kind of alleviate that roster logjam we've talked about for seasons now.
Alec Burleson is on the table. We know that. We know that they don't really want to go that direction, but they are. It sounds like they are open to it, and I know that moving Contreras would open things up for him a little bit. But do they? What is their desire or their willingness to make a move for him, and how good would that deal have to be?
My opinion is that deal would have to be even better than Brendan Donovan's based on the amount of years remaining of control for Burleson and the fact that they feel like they have just now started tapping in to that potential. There's nobody really regarded as untouchable on the Cardinals roster, but there are certainly players that are basically that, and that is Alec Burleson. Again, if some team comes in and just completely blows them out of the water, they will consider it, but I don't really see that possible, especially, or probable, I should say, especially with both Donovan and Nootbaar garnering as much interest as they have. Both of them just have 2 years before they're free agents again, and that doesn't necessarily line up with the Cardinals' next competitive window, according to multiple people in the organization. So I think the focus is to move the guys, if possible, especially Nootbaar, that have 2 or less years of control remaining, and focus on the young core. They believe Alec Burleson is a firm part of that young core.
And finally, Katie, you'll be leaving one big fan base and heading to another. There won't be any shortage of content on the Dodgers side, that's for sure. You'll have a lot going on, won't you?
Yes, I will. It will be a little bit of a change in terms of, you're covering a team that's bracing for its first rebuild in a couple of decades to a team that's coming off back-to-back World Series championships. So I'm excited for the challenge in that regard to go in and cover the Dodgers. They're obviously, we all know what they mean to the baseball world, but they're really one of the most impactful teams in professional sports right now. So that professional challenge for me is exciting. But it doesn't make saying goodbye here any easier. Anyone that's talked to me over the last 2 months has known that this has been weighing on my mind very heavily. I went back and forth on what the decision should be. I will always look back on my time in St. Louis so fondly. I mean, this place helped shape my career, and I don't know where I'd be without the fan base support, you guys giving me a chance to be able to speak every now and then. I just couldn't be more thankful. And as I'm looking back on my time in St. Louis, now that it's come to a close, that's just really the word I keep coming back to, and just very thankful for the opportunity to cover this team and meet the people that I did, and everyone here will be so sorely missed by me.
Katie, Mitchell is watching us on YouTube and wants to know if it's something we did.
No, of course not. No,
right.
The personal aspect came into play as well. Being from California and going closer to home ultimately was what drove that factor for me.
Well, Katie, we were thinking of a way to toast you, and you can't see this, but I thought the proper way would be, here you go, big guy, grab one of these.
Budweiser?
I've got ice cold Budweiser.
That's right.
Tossing one your way. Nice catch.
Oh, I can't open this now. It's going to be
No, that thing's going to explode. Don't do that. All over. I'll open mine, though. This is a toast to Katie Wu, who has been a terrific reporter and personality here in St. Louis, and we will always know that her great career, it all started right here in St. Louis covering the Cardinals. Cheers to Katie. Congratulations,
Cheers, you guys.
Katie.
And I'm going to take this as a sign to start drinking at noon. So thank you really for that.
Oh, we've already done that.
Fantastic.
Literally just started just now.
Yep. Congratulations, Katie, on the move, and we'll see you when you get back to St. Louis covering the Dodgers.
Thank you guys again so much. I will see you soon.
Thank you. Katie
Thanks,
Wu,
Katie.
The Athletic. What a great friend and colleague and writer.
She's great, man.
Yep, no doubt. We're going to join another one of our buddies, and that is Mike Farron. He'll be with us from MLB Network Radio coming up next. But right now, let's give away, you know what? A Cardinals bobblehead pack. 6 games
a holiday pack.
Yeah, a holiday pack. This is the Cardinals bobblehead pack giveaway right now. And let's do caller number 2.
2? Wow.
2.
You better be quick.
I don't think we've ever done 2.
Quick on the trigger.
For Red Schoendienst, 314-955-1120. The second caller to get in.
Second caller.
Will get the bobblehead pack. 6 games. Mike Farron is next on KMOX.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduced stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio, joins us live on the Gashouse Gang. And Mike, we apologize for being late, but when Katie Wu announces that she is leaving for LA, we had to do it. So we appreciate your patience.
Totally understand, and it stinks being the stand-up that has to come on after the headliner. So that's pretty lost, man. I'm a big Katie Wu fan. I think she's a great person in addition to being a really good reporter. So that's a bummer for Cardinals fans, but hopefully the Athletic finds somebody who certainly understands and appreciates the market. I'm sure they will. They have some great baseball writers on staff. So.
Mike Farron, you're a great baseball guy as well, and you're going to have a handle on what's happening at the winter meetings, which get going on Sunday. How active will it be?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting. I was looking at this, like the Cespedes barbecue guys at Yahoo put together their top 50 free agent list, and 10 of them have already signed, which seems like a pretty high percentage, right? Now, granted, a couple of those guys took qualifying offers, and the vast majority of them are pitchers, and some of those are the guys that just signed yesterday or today, like Cody Ponce and Anthony Kay. So, like, there are guys that came back from Asia that are part of that, but I don't I don't know. I mean, I'm hopeful that it will be. I mean, it feels like we're kind of in this spot where, like generally what happens is early in the winter, right, there are trade discussions and some trades get made. And then teams are like, I don't know, the cost of making a trade is going to be too high. Let's go to free agency. And then they sign some free agents. But then the ones they really want, the cost on them is too high. And then they go back to trade discussions, right? And then comes the final push in free agency. So I kind of feel like we're in that second part right now. And and the position player market hasn't really moved yet. So I would think that there's going to be some activity. I don't know that I could predict it's going to be like one of the crazier winter meetings that we've had. I just don't know, the buyers and sellers, so to speak, as to, what they would move. But I think if anybody's going to be active on the trade market, it would be the Cardinals.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Do you think it's going to be a feeding frenzy, or do you think that they will hold on to some people, Mike? Where do you see the Cardinals right now?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see them just moving guys to move guys unless it was like Arenado. That I think, at this point, I hate saying this because I love Nolan. I think he's a tremendous player and he's been a great teammate everywhere he's gone. But the bat is in pretty steep decline at this point, and I'm just not sure outside of salary relief that they're going to get much for him. So, if they do trade him, they're probably going to eat a huge chunk of the contract, maybe even a bigger percentage than they get on Sonny Gray's. But the return's not going to be very much. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that one would be the move that you feel like you have to make because it clears space too. But the other guys, like Brendan Donovan, is under team control for long enough that he would still have value at the trade deadline, and we're into the winter. Contreras, I think there should be a great market for Wilson Contreras, personally. I mean, You're talking about a pretty solid everyday first baseman that's, while you might have to eat a little bit of money to get better prospects back, but it doesn't break the bank for anyone. So I think that I think he's a guy that could move. I think Jojo Romero certainly would be a guy that moves because everybody needs left-handed pitching. So I think they could be active in that regard, but I also don't think that really. Romero probably makes most sense as a pending free agent, but they don't have to move guys. So I think they'll make deals that strengthen the organization.
Yeah, Contreras is a guy I think we're not talking enough about, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that why we don't tout him a little more here than we have been, just because he's actually been quite productive. I know he's gone through a lot and switched positions, but he's done everything they've asked of him, and he has produced.
And statistically, he was pretty good defensively at first last year, too. I mean, I think, listen, there's this perception, I think, of Wilson Contreras because of his intensity that at times it has rubbed some teammates the wrong way. And I think that's part of where maybe there are people that are concerned about acquiring him. I've never heard him to be a guy that destroys a clubhouse, right? He's not like a really divisive guy. And you're talking about a 2-year commitment. So even if he weren't, everybody's favorite teammate, I don't think that you're, looking to he's not going to trash your culture or anything like that. I think it's just that the dude's an intense competitor. And every dealing I've ever had with him, he's been a really great guy. But I mean, I don't have to work with him every day, right? So maybe there are some things there that help to do that. But listen, there's no surplus value left in the contract, right? It's about $18 million a year. That's about what the production should be, right? And I think there's a buyout on the back end of an option, so it could be, 41 guaranteed. So teams aren't going to give up a ton to get him. Do the Cardinals want salary relief, or do they want prospects? In order to do that, they just have to pay down the contract, kind of like what they did with Sonny Gray. And I thought they did really well in the Sonny Gray trade. So, yeah, I think there's plenty of teams that need a slugger at first base. I'm sure it doesn't, wouldn't be the favorite of Cardinal fans, but he's a great fit in Milwaukee. That's an absolutely perfect spot for him. And I could see teams, if they're going to be willing to eat a little bit of the money, make a trade for him. Arizona would be another spot that he would fit extremely well. They need a right-handed hitter who can play first. And so I think there are places that Wilson Contreras can go. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting dealt. The Cardinals eat some money and get a decent prospect or two in return.
There are two places to follow the Cardinals and Major League Baseball: KMOX Radio and MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 89, the Power Alley with Mike Farron and Jim Duquette. Appreciate you, buddy.
Anytime, boys. Good to be on with you.
Good to be with Mike Farron. Good to be with Chris Ranji, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in